Good morning. The other day I wanted to go take a couple more mountain course lessons with my good buddy Craig Joiner there. I got a fair bit of mountain flying experience, but there's a couple spots where when the wind picks up I wanted a little more detail on how to get into some of these spots. So anyways, I didn't do a great intro the other day, so this is it, and I hope you enjoy.
I was kind of thinking, like, man, there's not a whole lot of wind, which is odd for the heat we have. But
yeah.
I bet you up here it'll be bouncy, especially with the thermals. That's another thing that I struggle getting dialed in.
The biggest thing, even if you don't get it right, just make sure you got some kind of an out and know when you're committed.
I think I always have the out, and I take it.
Yeah.
Maybe more than I maybe should.
I got a story myself just with the bear thing with the environment where I made an approach, swore I was into the wind, then I overshot because I wasn't, and then I went in the other way, and then I was like, no, I was right the first time. God, that's gorgeous, hey?
It's right here.
Yeah.
And most people won't see it. So I've shown you the landing spots down here.
Yep.
Which don't try to climb across that ridge unless you're a hiker. So here I found, I would go both ways and I would end up with a tailwind. So it's like, okay, well,
it feels like we're in a tailwind now to me.
So let's just do what I would do. I guess I've already come in a bit too hot here I wasn't planning to, but my landing spot, where's that pallet? Right down there.
Yeah, this was the ridge I was talking about. I land on sometimes when there's snow there.
So you and I practiced landing there.
Yep.
And I think I landed with the girls over here is a little bit bigger just because there's still snow.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
All right. So I'm showing a little tailwind there. What I've picked up though is the wind is coming this way, so we're going to get lift.
Yep.
It didn't do
less steep.
Good.
Don't do steep turns in the mountains. Less steep. No more than 30. Give yourself more room, less turn.
Okay, yeah, that got away on me. Okay, so I still didn't really have it dialed in for...
I see what you mean though, because this feels downwind too now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've just picked up, see I got a tailwind again. So to me, it's just reading, I'm a little bit fast, but I'm just doing a dummy. So my spot, this is not working out the way I wanted it to.
So there's your spot right there, right?
Right in front of that pallet.
Yeah, on that rock?
No, just beside it.
The dirt there.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So I mean, at this speed, we're not really getting kicked around by forward or tail.
Yeah.
So it sort of confirms I could probably come at it from either way. Do you agree?
Yeah, but I would still be curious, like, as you make your approach, which way was the nose? Was it into the hill or away from the hill when you're going by? Like, there's more to it than just the wind, right? Like, how much power are we using at that speed? Was the nose into the hill or was the nose away from the hill? Like, little things like that to add to the detective work, right?
Okay.
That might favor one way or the other.
So then, again, I got caught not looking at my altitude. That better?
Yeah.
A little more
better.
sweepy. Yeah. On that first run, I should have it. I should actually know it because I'm going to be in here quite a bit, but I see it there, so I'm about the right height. So I'm just going to do a power check from this angle.
I'll show you something too. If you can't find the wind with a pass, I'll show you what else I do. We're definitely high on it though. Unless I'm looking at the wrong spot. I think I'm looking at the wrong spot.
Yeah, it's just up here.
I was looking down there.
Okay, so I feel good. I'm too high, but that's all right. Still gives me an idea. It's right by this snow patch.
I gotcha.
So if I was to... I'm pretty slow. That's as slow as I would want to be coming in.
Okay.
And I still am not using that much power. Am I way off with my thinking here?
No, not at all.
Like it's just hanging here. I mean, if anything, it just...
Yeah, and you got a good escape, so you're fine. And then you can go do it the other way. I do the same thing, but I actually make the approach a little more actual approach.
Right.
With the breakaway.
Yeah, no, I kind of like...
So I do the pass, I take what I think is the wind, based on is the nose into the hill or is it away from the hill? How much power am I using? Right? Like if you fly along here at 50 knots, you know, what's your power reading at 50 knots? And then when you go the other way, what's your power reading at 50 knots? And then I come by and just make an approach, kind of like what you did, but you might as well, instead of just kind of doing it away from it, make it to it, but don't go past your commitment spot.
Currently over the river at the entrance towards the Valley for Hope. Target course approach 1,400 descending.
Let's see, when you gained 10 miles an hour there, or 10 knots, was that because we turned into the wind, or did you let the nose fall, right?
Well, I was not paying attention.
And see how your nose is more into the hill here?
Well, I want to scooch along the mountain.
Yeah, but when you scoot along the mountain, I think your nose is going to be more into the hill this way.
And what is that telling you?
Well, then the wind is off your ass, not in front of you, because if it was here, it would pull your nose out.
Okay, so I'm just going to drop some altitude here. Do you see my spot?
Yep.
Okay, so that's about the right height, I feel. And if I come in... What's your thoughts?
Well, you tell me what your thoughts, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah, a little bit fast. But if I was heavy...
So now you're committed. And you made the right choice. See that little push forward you did?
Yeah.
That was correct.
I had to get there.
Yeah, that was correct. And that's exactly what you said. I have to get there, right? Because once you're committed, you had to get there, and that was correct.
I know there's a little bit of a...
Back slope, you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's a pile of rocks there. Somebody must have piled them up.
Yeah.
Just where that one is. Right, so I came up a little short. I didn't hit my spot.
Oh, I don't think you did, because you were in there, you tested, and you pushed in. I thought it was a nice job. And I think you were into the wind. I think that's the approach I would have made. 100%.
That's always a cool pull off.
So what do we got now? We got 5,750.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, got control. So if you do your wind recce as you did, and you're just not sure, and you're a little bit worried about going in there, do exactly what you did. Just do 2 approaches, but don't go through your commitment zone. And let the helicopter tell you which is the best way.
And I felt...
Because you have no commitment till the very end, right? So you can make a nice approach on it, and then just look at what the power and the helicopter is telling you.
Right.
Yeah.
I just felt the amount that I was slowly bringing power in.
Yep.
And what it was doing, you know, my descent, vertical speed. It wasn't like I was gonna run out of power.
Yeah.
So it just felt like I'm just gonna commit.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job.
And again, the wind wasn't bucking me around at all. And that's where I think this way or that way you could do it.
But also, if you got the same going both ways, then obviously you take the better approach.
And I'm more comfortable with that one because I can hug the wall and come out to it. Whereas this one,
okay, so 5750, I should be at the right height. See, this already tells me I'm pulling the cyclic back, right? Right now, I'm pulling the cyclic back. This is telling me I'm probably downwind. Because my ass is low. I'm like, slow up, helicopter, slow up, helicopter. Come on, slow up, helicopter. I'm trying to, like, come on, make this thing slow, which is usually a push.
Okay.
Which pushes your tail down.
Which I would have explained there. I was just kind of coasting along.
So here's my approach. So just like you did right here. See, I'm not committed, so this is safe.
You're too low.
So 5750 according to this.
It's up there on that ridge.
Oh, 5750 is what you were at, so I'll just trust the computer.
It's up there. You see it there?
Yeah, we're going to go by at eye level.
Okay.
So it's right beside us, right there.
Yeah.
5750. See that? Right there.
Okay.
Yeah, 5750.
I wasn't sure what you were doing.
Yeah. So I'm using 22 inches. So see there, that's all I do. Okay, that was 22 inches, and my tail twitched a little bit, and it felt like it was hard to slow down. Okay, that's the information I got. There's not a strong enough wind today to really kind of figure out, is this end of the wind or that end of the wind by doing the 40-mile-an-hour pass.
What did you bring? Was that just some extra weight?
No, just safety kind of stuff.
Oh. I thought, all right, he's bringing some lead sacks. It's awesome. We're really going to be heavy.
So you can see I'm 50 feet above my spot right now. But I know what you mean, because that felt downwindish, and when you turn right here, this feels downwindish, so it's almost like it blows up the hill here. Right?
Which it probably is.
Yeah, and then it's kind of going this way and this way.
Right, so that way you got a little more mountain catching you.
So now I look back here, I'm too high. So I got to fix this.
Yeah, see, if you can fix it way back here, whereas I was fixing it too close. Well, I wasn't fixing it, I was like, well, it's going to work.
So now, sometimes on this, if I don't want to waste my time, like, I know the wind's fairly, I'll just do 2 of these. I can already tell you, I'm having to push the cyclic forward to keep going here. So I must be into the wind, because last time I was pulling the cyclic back, slow girl, slow girl. Right now I'm pushing the cyclic forward. So that already tells me I'm most likely into the wind here. And look at the power 17.
Right.
Right? I already know this is a better approach. The aircraft is telling me, hey, Craig, here you're pushing the cyclic. Back there you were pulling the cyclic. You're only 19, 20. I was 22 at this speed. This is 2 inches better than the other way. So the helicopter says, if you go this way, Craig, you'll use 2 inches less than going the other way. See that? And my left pedal's less twitchy than the other way. So this was correct. This was. So now, am I committed? No, not yet. I can brake to the right. I can brake to the right. I'll even make sure I stay brake to the right, brake to the right, brake to the right, brake to the right, and a little push in right to that low hover, just like you did. So you ended up doing a really good job, because there it is. That's what I would have done on that. Does that answer the question you were looking for?
So that was good. See, I saw when you were just hanging out there,
Yeah,
you were still doing 20-ish knots.
yeah,
So obviously you're going through the air, whereas when you turn the other way, there's not any that there's not that wind pushing you.
yeah. So what told me was instead of doing the 40 knot thing, it's like, oh, I'm not finding it. Okay, well, let's just make an approach that way, just like you said. And I made an approach eye level at it. And then, yeah, I was looking for hey, where's my nose? How much power am I using? Am I pulling the cyclic back or am I pushing it forward? And basically the end result is, I don't know where the wind is, but the helicopter said, Craig, it's 2 inches better going this way.
And when you were coming in, you were still saving your breakaway, but you were sitting at 20 inches, knowing that you could pull 24.
Uh-huh.
So that's where I would be like, I know I'm going to hit my spot. I'm going to come up with a ground cushion. I'm sitting at 20, and I'm not exceeding 300 feet, so I'm holding it. I would just commit.
Yeah.
At that point, you're holding your brake off, but I would say holding that brake off is in case you get a gust or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't because all of this little recon here, we weren't getting kicked.
Yeah, yes, and you want to come here when it's getting kicked.
Well, I bet you we play on the ridge, we're going to get some kicking, whereas this is pretty safe updraft.
Yeah, you got control. You can take me to where you want to go to that other spot, right?
Well,
that bowl?
No, let's play on the ridge here.
Okay, gotcha.
Because now we got to figure out if the wind's coming up this way.
Okay, so what I usually do is come across these ridges about 500 feet above them. I do a circa recce and just see what's the good side and what's the bad side.
Okay. So 500 feet above and do a circle.
Yeah,
so
approximately.
That's what I didn't know what to do. How do I find the wind on...
So let's just do a circle around the ridge here.
See, like this now? Just doing this?
You can see it. Exactly. See, you're starting to get it.
It just pushed me that way.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's where you're starting to get more experience where you can like, oh, I can just see that I'm pushed. I don't need to, you know what I mean? You've already got your first major clue.
Right. And I'm good with that.
But if you just kind of come by and just do a circle recce here, just so we can talk about it.
Well, then that confirms it too a bit, because I can feel I'm going to have to drive back in there. Yeah, I'm sorry, wasn't paying enough attention. So my spot...
Hot Tech Lake traffic.
Well, there's that one, and I think the one is right, it looks like a concrete slab there.
Yeah,
so
see that one almost forces you to do it from the other side anyways. But if you just do a circle recce here, let's just do one nice right circle on crossing the ridge both ways here. We should feel smoother air on this side, like we're driving down a pavement road. And it should feel like we're driving on a gravel road on the other side. If it's a windy day, you'll get updraft on this side, and you'll get rough, violent downdraft on the other side. And when you know that the wind is strong, and then you don't go to the backside. See, there's updraft. See that? That's updraft.
Yeah. I mean, and it just confirms it, right?
Yeah. So now you had a drift over there, updraft over here. It was smoother on this side, and I expect it to get rougher on this side, like we're driving down a gravel road.
Because now I'm going to be in turbulence a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see this is kind of driving down a gravel road.
Well, not yet, but I'm sinking.
Yep. Exactly. There it is right there. So now you're sinking for sure. See that?
Yeah.
And it's rougher here.
I can feel it.
So this is the backside. So that tells you that wind's over there somewhere. So normally you would try to use, now you would go and do the figure 8 on the front side.
All right. So this is where I'm a bit confused, because I thought I would want to approach it into the wind.
Yes, you're not fully wrong on that, which means what happens is, where do you think the demarcation line is on that?
I think it's not that
Let's actually
windy.
go see if we can find it. I got control. Because if it's not that windy, it should be fairly flat. It should come up over the hill, be fairly flat, and not break over to the far edge. So in other words, the windier it is, the closer it's going to be to the front.
Because it's ripping?
That's right, because it rips up and then it breaks off earlier. So what happens, that break-off point on a calmer day like today is probably near the back of this ridge. But on a windy day, it's going to be closer to the front.
So what are you doing here?
I'm just going to follow this back edge, and I'm going to go in and out and just see if we can kind of feel it or not. See, even though I'm on the back edge right here, say I'm flying the back side, but I'm actually on the front side because I'm probably in front of the demarcation line. Now let's just let me slide back a little bit.
Well, what if you were a little lower?
Okay, there, right there, I'm sinking. I'm behind the demarcation line.
Right.
Look at me go down.
Yep.
It's rougher. I'm going to slide to the right.
Like, I would imagine...
See, there, I just smoothed out. I'm in front of the demarcation line. See that? So even though I'm on the back of the ridge, I'm actually in front of the demarcation line. So I can safely fly this ridge on this side and still kind of push forward into what you were saying, because this
But now you're sinking again.
Yeah, so that means I'm too far back. So then I could come a little forward. So
Okay, so that's my spot right there with that slab.
So now this is a good spot, because if you go this way, other than you'll have to watch the tail,
I'm into the wind.
You're into the wind and you stayed in front of the demarcation line.
So if you did a dummy run right here?
Yeah.
So you're pulling, there's 19 inches. You're still coming in pretty hard, in my opinion, for a dummy run.
And then right here I can push.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't have done that. That made me uncomfortable.
Okay. Now.
As a dummy run, like it just felt like.
On the front side, I can already tell this is the good side, which is even. But yeah, I just wanted to talk because you were asking, because you could still be on the back side and be in front of the demarcation line. Now we're on the good side, way in front of the demarcation line.
Right.
However, obviously we're probably going to want to come in from this way.
So, and we're just saying the wind's not strong enough to tuck in there.
Well, when I look at this, like if I come in that way, I could have been concerned about my tail rotor, right? But maybe I don't, maybe it's a stronger day and I can't get as far back as that. So then I have to stay on the front here.
Okay, so talk about that for a sec. If it's a stronger wind day, that demarcation's going to be...
It's be on the front of this hill.
It's further
it would
back.
be it would be rough. It'd be super rough where I made that approach last time. I wouldn't be able to, I'd be already in the downdraft and the rough, and I wouldn't be able to follow the back of the hill.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. And you're going to know it.
Yeah.
But it's not good enough to stay, like this type of rock isn't good enough to fly right on the front side and hit that spot. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's a flat landing. You got to come in sideways into that little hole.
Yes.
So I remember we played.
So this one has commitment if you come in this way.
Right, but I think my concern was if you turn, that wind is potentially pushing your ass.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, grassy spot.
Yeah.
But it's on the wrong side.
I forgot to grab the height while we were yapping there. So I got updraft here, and this is the other problem here. I'm so far on the front side that I could have too much up and I might be better off to the left. However, this has an excellent breakaway. I've got a little bit up, but not too bad. But you're right. The minute I have to go this way now to make that landing under like the other way, I could do two things. I could fly behind the demarcation line and then the son of a bitch fall right out on me, right? Or just simply got my tail too far, right? And then that's no good either. So I agree with your concerns 100%.
I think this is it.
This should be it, yeah.
Okay, so you're just...
I'm already, see, it's fighting me. I don't like it. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't like it. I like the other way. See that? It's just no good. No good.
Ah.
So the helicopter. So I would definitely prefer my first one over the last one. But if you had made that approach and it was feeling good and we turned into it, 100% you're right about that getting behind the demarcation line and then falling out. So you have to be very careful of that. So if it felt good there, I'll come back the other way. You have to do that last minute, okay, I'm going to go for it, and you have to arrive in a low hover and push fast in.
And why do you think that felt like that? If you should have had a...
I think I had too much updraft.
Okay. This is it right here?
Yep.
Well, so there's a commit point then, right?
Yes, 100%. I actually like this better. But there's the tail twitchy.
Yeah.
Let's see how the power is.
And you're still got your bank?
I still got my breakaway. And then you're right. The minute I turn, I'm going to see it's a little twitchy right here. See that? But if we did do it, I'm going to speed up and push in right there. Tunk, like that.
Just to get the ground effect.
Just to get the ground effect, and that was commitment. I was going to take it all. But I actually preferred my first approach better because I could leave the tail down there. But you're right, what you're thinking is good, because when you're on this front side and you have to turn in like that, that's exactly what happens. A, you get your tail a little bit behind the wind, and you can actually fly through the demarcation line and go, whoa! So when you decide to do it, you better be prepared to commit yourself, go a little bit, because you're already slower, so by speeding up, you're going to help yourself, and then boom into that low cushion, and that'll usually make up the difference for you. Right. Like that one, you almost have to come from this side, hey?
Yeah, but then you don't have a push through. So
that's right.
But that when you came in nice and shallow, if you wanted to do a dummy run.
My dummy run was the same thing, but just break straight ahead.
Yeah, but even if you were maybe 10 feet higher, that can all be just different wind.
Not too much.
In other words, if you wanted to do a dummy run 10 feet higher, you just are a little higher over that ridge, and it could be different.
A little bit.
And give you a different impression.
It can, but usually the wind is predictable enough. Almost like we're getting more wind this way now. The wind is predictable that it's coming up, it's over the top, and then it's breaking off. And you also got to remember, see all these little crevices and stuff? They will channel wind in there and accelerate the wind in those channels. So your demarcation line won't be a straight line. It'll go in and out, in and out, in and out along this ridge. See that?
Okay.
Because of that.
So, and the shitty thing of this is it's down.
But
like
yes.
You're here, you're in a good spot. You're crabbing now.
Yeah.
It looks right to me, way up there.
Yep.
And then you got to just drop into it. But I guess if you're into the wind,
exactly.
Like this feels so much better.
Yeah.
Are you intentionally crabbing?
Yes. But the wind's kind of helping me naturally.
Right, but you're going to get bucked right off of these rocks.
A little bit.
Yeah.
However, I could shove the cyclic forwards and get the hell out of here if I have to.
Yeah, so it wasn't so bad. and then just got to watch.
Okay, now I'm committed. Like, no matter what happens now, I'm just going for it.
But I think this is safe.
Yep.
Like, the downside, though, is if that wind is strong,
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you could lose that lift.
Yes and no. Because you know the wind is coming up this hill, and you know for a fact that your demarcation line was back there. You're staying in front of the demarcation line. So this wind that comes up here is got to level off here and then break off back there.
Okay, so what I was feeling up above those rocks,
Yep.
I thought could change down here, but...
Not if the wind's coming up this way.
Okay.
And if it was going to be bad on this side, we would have had to be downwind, and we probably would have aborted because of the downwind.
So, I mean, this really worked coming in, but then also too, if you come over this thing, and if it does sink a smidge, you're going to hit your. Well, would you not just commit to your cushion?
Only if I was close. If I was like further back, I would have aborted.
You got control?
I got control. You want me to show you?
Yeah, because
I'm gonna
like I would have watching your power, and the fact that I know that cushion's coming there, and we knew we were into wind. It was more of a, if you got caught with just a little something.
Yep.
And
it happens.
I would just commit and get into my cushion.
It depends on where I was on that. I do agree.
Unless you got a shot of updraft,
yeah.
Well, then it's like, okay, well that didn't work. But you should have felt that on your dump.
Yeah, I like what you just said there. Unless I got an updraft, because that's where most people make a mistake. Oh, I got all this lift. I can lower the collective. I'm low on power. And that's what gets them into trouble. Yeah, where you said, yeah, if I got an updraft, I would abort 100%.
Right, because you let go of power, come in, and then you'll say, yeah.
Then you're in trouble. So that was a good comment. That's actually one people don't understand.
Well, again, I'm trying to be smart and safe about this.
And you don't learn this overnight. I learned this with heavy loads in a Jet Ranger, over 12,000 hours in the mountains, and 30-some years of doing this. You know, slinging repeaters to build a repeater up here, and flying the flight crew, and flying the lumber, and the heavy battery. Like, you know what I mean? It took years to learn.
Could you not be this way more?
I could.
Okay, so you're just, why are you hanging back here?
Because it's usually higher, you get more updraft there, and then it goes over the hill and smooths out before it breaks. It's so generally smoother back here than it is on the front.
Okay, so you're just
because if I go this way, I bet you I'll get updraft. Remember you just said you didn't want up? There it is. There's the up. Look, we're going up.
Yeah.
I don't want to go up because then I got to lower my collective. If I go back here, I'll have, I'm not going up anymore. See that?
And too far.
Yeah, then I'm going to go down and be like rough.
So we're not that windy.
Yeah.
So. Okay,
and sometimes it gets too windy. Sometimes it's just like, hey, you're not landing there because it's too frickin' windy.
And that's, I'm
going to be a little more forward on this and over those rocks, which you're concerned about.
Well, it was more, are you going to get some turbulence because you were behind them?
Yeah. And I'm getting more on the front than I was on the back. See that? Because I get that updraft. Now, right here, if I sunk, I'm going to push my collective down. I think I would just have fuck that. See? That's how I would have escaped.
You push collective down?
Yeah, to show that I was in a sink. I did that on purpose to show you I was in a sink.
How that helped you.
Yeah, it didn't. I was pretending that I was pulling up collective, but the aircraft was going down. So in order to pretend, I just shoved my collective down, and I left it there. So the only way I was able to get out of there was shove the cyclic forward, and see how I got out of there? That's basically all you would do. I wouldn't commit myself to that at that particular spot. You got control. Just play with that. But did you see, if when I was more forward, I get that updraft rougher, and then when I was further back, I was actually more, like the wind does this, the wind does that.
Right.
And this is up, and this is more across. And then where the needle, where it breaks like this.
Right. That's where you start. That's your rough road.
Right. Now you also got to remember, if the wind gets stronger, really strong, as it goes over the hill and it does this, what do you think's going to happen right close to the back side of the hill? Have you ever taken a straw and then blown some air over it?
Yeah.
What happens to the fluid? It gets sucked up the straw.
Right. So
when that wind comes over and breaks off, what do you think's going to happen right tight against those rocks? It's going to make a light updraft. So lots of times, even though that's the good side, being on the back edge in front of the demarcation line, of course, will give you a very, very light updraft.
So am I too high here?
No. Not for this spot.
Okay, so you were just creeping
along the backside. I was probably a little higher because you have to brake on the backside now. I was actually kind of able to get, and put your nose more right. There you go.
And that'll...
Well, you'll be less crosswind. You'll because we want that wind here, right?
Yeah, see, I'm a little too low.
Yeah.
Right behind these rocks.
Yeah,
anyways.
Exactly. I went over.
So I gotta fly.
And you could be a little back a little more. Right there. See how that just got smoother?
So I'm at 20 inches already. I have been for a bit.
Okay.
So I'm back a little too far because I'm getting bucked around. So I should be starting to get into my ground effect.
Now notice how the air got better.
Yeah.
But now you're a little too high. See that? Because I wouldn't want to stop at that height.
No, I wasn't planning to.
Yeah.
It's interesting to feel that.
Yeah.
I want to do it one more time.
Absolutely. Do it 3 more times. I just hope I'm helping.
No, I didn't think of this. We did this a long time ago when we were up in the snowmobile area.
Yeah, and you were too scared. You didn't have enough experience behind you.
No, but
Where now you're starting to get some experience.
But I remember it.
Yeah.
Right? I remember we stuck under the wind, we crept in, we crabbed, and we landed, but it was flat all the way along.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, okay.
Jagged, so your demarcation line's going to keep moving a bit.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I need to fly that, which I didn't do there.
But like I always say, if you did it just as good as me, it almost pissed me off because it took me a long time to get that good, right?
No, and this...
I flew a lot of this with puck and pucker factor, and and my hands would be sore and my ass would be sore, and and I'd try to be like, well, I'll get you there, and professional, and then as they were walking away, I'm like, holy fuck,
Right. So, and this is where, just like you said, go fly, go practice.
Yeah.
I've done not a fair bit, but I've been doing this, so I've got a little bit more experience, not just.
And just be careful. You don't have to try to give yourself more room for extra power until you get better and better and better, right?
Right.
This is not an easy landing, so we're too low.
Yeah, I was trying to slowly correct it. There it comes. Okay, so how's that for height? That bit better?
Yeah, it could be a little bit higher.
A little higher?
Just following the rocks a little more. Once we're over that. And fly more sideways, because the wind's over here. And you're trying to you got a wind 90 degrees. The more you fly sideways, the more that wind's going to be up on your 30 degree. There you go.
Maybe smoother?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still too
fast and too high there. You needed to go down with the terrain on that one.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn the fly the terrain business. So this spot, fortunately, I landed with them, showed them this spot. They kind of looked around and went, this would be a great morning spot.
Ah, yes.
Because all of that's going to be hidden in
Oh, yes.
going to hide the sunset. So I'm like, perfect, because it's the afternoon.
But the good news is you got one, you're heavy on fuel, so light on fuel with one extra would be similar load, eh?
Well, I would be max. So I was planning on, maybe a little more than an hour of fuel.
Yeah.
And 3 people.
No, you can't go 2 for the first time just to be, or not counting you, right? 2 passengers in you?
No, because it's 2 people and the photographer.
Ah, yeah. So you're gonna have to be careful.
Oh, and this is it. This is why I called you. I don't want to pretend I know it all. And I'm still not going to know it all, but I've learned more already.
So what if this is a little bit rough and you're not comfortable and you really want to get them in there?
No, I wouldn't.
What are you going to do?
No,
well, then you go down and land and kick somebody out close by at a comfortable landing, like maybe down there that you're comfortable with. Then you fly the 2 people over and then go down and get him and bring him back up. We do that all the time commercially.
If it's windy, though, I probably won't. I probably just, I've made it clear. This isn't my gig. I'm just here to help you guys a bit.
Yeah, I like this better.
Okay, so there's that rock still, and I'm not necessarily trying to fly it. I'm just.
Yeah, and I want to be on the back of that rock.
Okay, so I field translation.
Okay, now if you look, it's downhill all the way to that smooth rock down there.
Right.
And I want to be more left. I want to be on the back of the front edge, if that makes sense. There you go. And down. Like, I want to clear that rock by like 2-3 feet.
Okay, I'm on a good trajectory here.
Yes.
A little bit too slow.
A little back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There.
It's calm. Okay.
We're a little high. Like, you're 10, 20 feet.
Yeah, I just don't necessarily love those rocks. Okay, I feel nice and solid.
Yeah.
I could commit to this.
But just think, when you stop...
Yeah, that's too high to stop like that.
That's why I didn't like that back there. See that? It was a beautiful approach, but it's like, son of a bitch, we're 4 or 5 feet high. I want to be 8 inches high, 1 foot high. And that's what I was talking about, those last rocks. You got to skim those to get that low hover.
And that's dangerous, though.
No, because you can push forward.
Well, no. I see those as my 2-year-old's going to be in trouble. Nah. That's just me. I
thought that was a beautiful approach. It's just like, we're a little high in the hover. Now, you would have got away with that because you had the power, but if it was like you ran out of power, that's where you don't want to be, 4 feet in the air falling into your landing spot.
Right. And I knew as soon as I stopped and turned to straighten out, that's where it's just going to go to dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like if you know that, that's half of it.
Yes.
Just
100%.
Just don't
100%.
Don't waste your time with it. Just do it right or don't do it.
Yes. Well spoken.
I don't know how many times I use your don't turn dog shit or don't try to turn dog shit into honey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still use that or not.
I do, yeah. I said it the other day.
So if I stay at this height, instead of trying to fly the train, I just got to get by this big rock.
Yeah.
And the difference is, or what I like about this is where I'm going to be coming a lot. So I'm using 20 inches. I'm allowed, I think we determined
24 and a bit.
24 and a bit, right. So just knowing, like, actually the wind just pushed me a little bit, straightened me out more, or turned me more.
Yeah, it's slowly coming more and more this way.
Yeah, I'm not a fan because I can't see the rocks as well as I would like to. This thing's in my way.
But don't forget, if you go over this rock, then you're clear. Then you can go forward.
Oh, you're saying just keep a sideways?
Keep it going. Now down.
So I'm just going to let it sink.
That's a much better height. Could have been a smidge lower, but nothing wrong with that. That's acceptable.
I mean, once I'm here, I can...
Ah, you're good. Yeah, exactly.
I can back up.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, realistically... Okay. Let's move on to the next one. How much time you have? What are we at?
5 o'clock. I got to teach ground school at 6.
Done?
No, we'll do one more.
No, like go somewhere else or...
Yeah, no. Let's go to that bowl.
Well, let's go to the cabin, because that's the other ridge. That's my sunset ridge.
Okay.
And there's a good chance it's going to be windy.
Okay.
I went in there last... I gotta go way that way. I went in last year.
So you can definitely tell we're on the backside, eh?
Right. Yeah, and I'm okay finding that. It was just you and I did that ridge last year, and we tucked in.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, what do you do?
Yep.
You know,
and that's why I did the one tuck in as well. Sometimes you have to make a decision, and different days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I almost like
But as the wind gets stronger, it changes things.
And the wind's not that strong.
No.
Right?
Oh.
So I think I mean, I probably like see where he's seeing 10-ish.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But when you're fully loaded,
yes,
then you just don't have that extra
exactly.
forgiveness. So,
and that's where, like I said, sometimes we divide the load up.